when I'm not with him, I'm happy because I love me,
Mm-hmm.
but I also can't wait. Like, I love doing this podcast. This is so great to hang out with you, but also if I was home with him, that'd be awesome. If he was here, that'd be great,
Well, that's what I always say. I do push him out the door sometimes and say a couple of hours on my own.
That's right.
Is good for me. I
That's
need
right.
that. And then I really miss him at the end. But that is, something coming with younger men, I think, is that they are so much more open, this generation, with their feelings and showing
so empathetic,
us.
which I love that. Which is a beautiful thing because it also speaks to the women that are raising these men now, that they're not having the same, they're not passing on the same generational trauma or expectations of men. My guy is a cuddler and expressive and crying to the point where sometimes I'm kind of like, okay, like I gotta balance this out, but it's
I'm like,
sweet.
You're crying again. Every time I'm about to do half a facelift, people out there. And every time I talk about it, he bursts into tears.
Oh, yes. Like, everything needs to be okay.
He's going to be the worst.
It's the
like,
sweetest
I'm already
thing.
know I'm not going to look good when I come out, but he's going to be a disaster.
Just so worried. But it's so nice to be cared for and loved in that way. It's such a blessing. So knowing that, and this is the big thing I want to ask you. So knowing that you are in a relationship with someone who right away, you knew it would be an issue. I mean, there comes a point when you're a public figure where you have to actually decide, what am I going to share? What am I not going to share? Because this person's a part of my life and I love them. And I could not imagine a path forward without discussing that they're here, How did you decide that, knowing it would be conversation?
Look, before I was with Sergio, when I was with Sergio, and I think I told you he lied. He said he was 31. He got down to 24. I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
And I was 43. And I was like, there's no way this can work. So I started Googling May to December relationships.
Yes.
Of course, you can find a million the other way, not this way.
Of course.
And I was like, oh my God, it hasn't worked for anyone.
Yeah, right.
Literally anyone.
It is bound to fail.
Yes. And literally that.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, it cannot happen. So then I was like, to him, he was like Romeo and Juliet, right?
Sure.
So we were destined to be together. So I was like, okay, you need to come and meet my kids, but you're just my friend.
Yep.
You need to see what 43 and kids looks like. You need to see the house.
This
you need
is
to see the bills.
so me. I waited because I was like, okay, I'm into you, but I waited almost a year before he met my kids because I also was like, you have to see me as a mom for us to even know if this is going to work.
Because
I have
otherwise
3
you're living
kids.
a fantasy.
It's a fantasy. And it was fun. Honestly, the fantasy was
great.
fun. It was right. It was great. All of us. It was great. Like for a while, I was like, look at me with this young, hot, tender something. Like this is wonderful. But then it was like, okay, but for real, I'm in love with you. So now we need to figure this out, know? And how did that... I mean, so you go through all the steps, of sort of, I'm not going to mess this thing up because I think it's something real. And then what?
I mean, no, I broke up with him about 36 times.
Well, same, but I'm still not going to mess it up.
No.
Like, I'm going to keep coming back because I know better.
Yes. But then I'm like, why am I not giving him a chance? And then my ex-husband could have left me, because I'm old.
That's right.
Right now we're having a great time. Why isn't right now enough?
Just be happy.
Just be happy for this moment.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, it doesn't matter if he leaves in 5 months.
That's
6
right.
months.
So what? At least I'm happy for this season,
Great now.